Okay, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, From Project to Profit, Unlocking Better Financial Insights with Rapport3 and AccountsIQ. Before we get started, just a quick note. Throughout the session, please feel free to pop any questions into our Q&A box. Our team will either answer them in the Q&A box or we'll answer them live in the Q&A section at the end. Here's a look at today at what we'll be covering. We're going to start by exploring how migrating from legacy systems can actually be more straightforward than you might expect, and how to avoid some of the common pitfalls along the way. We'll then show you how Rapport3 brings data through to track project performance in real time. We'll move on to how AIQ delivers deeper financial insights and control, and how Power BI brings data from both platforms together in real-time dashboards and smarter decisions. We'll have a Q&A with PRP, and then an audience question and answer session. So before we dive in, let me introduce you to all our speakers today. My name's Joanna Byatt. I'm a Senior Project Manager at Cubic, and our product is Rapport3. So I've got Zach Bateman with me from Cubic, and he's our Head of Data Services. And for those of you that don't know, Rapport3 is a project management cloud-based software designed for architects, engineers, and construction professionals. We've also got Danielle Cahill, who is from AccountsIQ with us today, and she's Head of Partnerships at AIQ. And AccountsIQ is also a cloud-based accounting system and financial management platform for growing mid-sized businesses. It provides advanced consolidation, reporting, and automation tools that give financial teams deeper insights and stronger control over their numbers. We've got Rolly Mossip, who's a principal at Innovia Partners with us today, and he's a management consultant who serves architecture, engineering, and design, and they help address day-to-day operations and long-term strategies. They've got over 20 years experience, and we've worked previously with them on a project at David Chipperfield's, and they will talk to you later about what they'll be doing. And finally, we've got Nick Dunn, who's a technology director at PRP Architects, who will speak to in more detail later about their experience working both with Rapport3 and AccountsIQ. So let me hand you over to Rolly Mossop, who's going to talk to you a bit about Innovia.
Thanks so much, Joanna. Hi, everybody. We're a firm that helps architecture, engineering, and construction professionals with three of the critical questions that are at the foundation of AEC practice, performance, and growth. We help our clients increase their revenue from selling services. We help them understand how to reduce the costs of delivering projects and running a practice. And of course, when you've subtracted revenues from costs, you have cash, the profit that is used to reward owners and reinvest. We help our clients in each of these three areas. And so it matters to us because we help clients with these questions why architecture, engineering, and construction companies are profitable. We want to understand that question. And we're going to share some of our insights today with you. And they matter in the context of today's presentation because Rapport3 and AccountsIQ are important partners in the journey towards profitability and digital maturity. Let's go to the next slide, please. So we know, as you do, that profit is important. Sometimes making organizations effective, making architecture and engineering firms effective, gets lost in the professionals' concern for service, their desire to innovate, and their desire to use the best toys and the best tools to do their design and professional work. But we know that none of those activities, professional service, professional R&D, and systems R&D, are possible without profit. Profit is the fuel that powers AEC innovation. Really, for architecture and engineering firms especially, it is the fuel that creates time. It unlocks time for more design and creativity. Now, when we work with our clients, we always begin with the foundation of profitability in an AEC firm. Next slide, please. And over my couple of decades of doing this, I have realized that there is a very simple equation between the performance of your practice and the performance of your projects. If you can make your projects profitable, if you can manage them in such a way as to reduce the risk of unprofitability, your practice will have more cash available, it will have more cash to invest, and it will have more cash available to return to its owners. But it's easy to say your projects should be more profitable. When you, especially in a large firm, when you come to execute on that insight, simple though it is, you have to master a whole group of skills and use a whole group of tools that are often familiar and unfamiliar, and sometimes not easily adapted within a culture. But we know from our experience that once tools, processes, skills, and data are brought together so that projects can be managed profitably, good results follow. The work gets easier and the firm gets better. Next slide, please. What do the data tell us about what you need to master? Well, we've, over the years, developed a framework which we call a digital maturity assessment. And it's a framework that allows us to go beyond thinking about digital maturity in terms of the sophistication of the tools that you have purchased. It allows us to think about how a practice performs in terms of its operational efficiency, its organizational efficiency, its ability to design and produce to the standards that it expects, and its ability to run a data or an IT infrastructure that is appropriate in terms of sophistication. And our digital maturity assessment shows us that the success and impact of each of these functions is largely determined by the strength of 4 digital capabilities. They are processes, skills, data, and software. Now, this sounds like abstract management consultant gobbledygook, but in fact, it's super practical and super useful for you, especially if you're a finance director or a practice managing partner who's trying to usher the firm along its journey to digital maturity and profitability. Here's what the data tell us. Let's go to the next slide. The data tell us that digital maturity, that's process skills, tools, that digital maturity drives profitability. The slide that you're looking at is the result of a proprietary survey that we do with 20 of Canada's largest architectural and engineering firms. We're able to use our digital maturity index as a framework to understand where each firm stands along a scale of 1 to 4. We're also able to look at their financial results. And this is the insight that is important for you, and I hope you will retain this. Of the top top quartile of AEC firms in digital maturity, those who rank themselves close to the top of our 4-point index in terms of operational efficiency, design and production ability, organizational efficiency, and IT infrastructure, those top quartile firms are also the top quartile in profitability. And there's a huge spread between them and the bottom quartile. those firms that measure themselves as being less digitally mature have a profitability that is 15 to 20% below the profitability of the top quartile firms. So that's a really remarkable finding, and it tells us that if you are great at your systems, your processes, your skills, you're going to be a great performer as a firm. Let's go to our next slide. Something that we observe is that the top performers have another thing in common. They have a single source of truth in common. They understand from a single common data set what it is that their organization is doing. Their single source of truth touches all of their support and management functions on the left-hand side of the mosaic that you see. It touches the production processes that you see in the top right, and it touches the collaboration and knowledge sharing functions that you see in your bottom right. Next slide, please. We've had the pleasure of helping clients build this single source of truth. Reference was made earlier to our work with AccountsIQ and Rapport3 at Chipperfields. That work brought together both project accounting and project management with financial accounting and financial management. It has allowed them to map their course through the stormy waters of these last few years and deliver good results despite challenges in the market. So a single source of truth with high quality processes, data, software, and skills can produce remarkable results. It can literally put you in control of your practice in a way that would not be possible otherwise. It can also help you build profitability, space for design, creativity, innovation, and care of your staff that would not otherwise be possible. So I hope you'll take these messages away, and I hope you'll be able to see the rest of the presentations today through that lens. If you're able to improve your management of projects through better processes, data, software, and skills, and if you're able to build a single source of truth using programs like Rapport and AccountsIQ, you will have a better performing practice that delivers better results and is easier to manage. Thanks, everybody. We'll keep an eye out for questions that you may have in the chat and get to them through the course of this webinar. I think the next person up is...
Hi, Rolly. Yeah, it's Danielle here from AccountsIQ. I am going to talk about AccountsIQ and Rapport3 and the two systems working together. So really, to start off with, every practice needs a system that focuses on the way they work and the teams that use them. So on the operational side, Rapport3 is the core system for your staff for everyday use, for things like timesheets, submitting expenses, reviewing upcoming resources, and just managing your general projects. And then meanwhile, the finance team tends to live in their finance system, in this instance, AccountsIQ, handling receipts, payments, bank reconciliations, and producing their management accounts. However, there is a natural overlap between the two systems, especially when it comes to transactions like sales invoices or purchase invoices. And that's why we would think that an integration would be so important, and connecting the two systems to ensure like a seamless flow of data between your operational systems and your financial systems. So just to re-echo some of Rowley's words there, we'd be looking to have one single source of truth by enabling an integration. This will allow for no duplications or data sitting in one system and not matching with data in another system. It also reduces any manual tasks, reconciling spreadsheets, time-consuming tasks of duplicating things, and then which leads on to errors essentially. So integrating two systems really brings together some real-time visibility of the project and financial information and the health of those together, and then enabling you to make smarter decisions and then again improve your margins as well. So just jumping on to the next slide, Jen, please. So an integration really isn't just a technical fix, it's really about enabling smarter, faster, more profitable business decisions. So for those who are unfamiliar with the integration, here's just a quick overview of how the transactions and static data flow between Rapport3 and AccountsIQ. So a key feature of this particular integration is that you can actually tag in project codes from Rapport into AccountsIQ and bring them across as dimensions and BI codes. So this will enable a deeper analysis and project reviews within AccountsIQ as well as Rapport3. So actually, excitingly, I was on a meeting this week about kind of the proposed integration with Rapport3C and AccountsIQ, and it is going to be enhanced and give a lot more kind of a more integrated solution with having multiple dimensions, which would be great. So you could bring things in like your office, your sector, your service, and your business units. And then equally, Rapport are looking to bring across some bi-directional of invoices. So the idea being that you could create purchase invoices or sales invoices in AccountsIQ and actually bring them across to Rapport3 tagged against projects. So that would be really great for some of the finance teams so that they could utilize AccountsIQ's AP inbox, which allows OCR scanning of purchase invoices, capturing that information, and then seamlessly bringing them across to Rapport3 tagged against projects. So that's all very exciting, but that's a project for 2026. So just looking at this, so not every sorry, don't worry. So not every detail, you can move on. Sorry, it's okay. So not every detail needs to move across from each system. Some data just needs to stay in Rapport3 and it naturally lives there. Equally, some of the financial bank information just lives in AccountsIQ and there's no need for it to be part of the integration. However, some real value can really come from actually reporting them together. So bringing all of this information together in one key reporting pack. So myself and Zach have done some work, again, with one of our consultants as well, to work at creating this new Power BI kind of proof of concept, whereby we're bringing information from AccountsIQ and Rapport3 into one reporting pack that combines project data with company-wide analysis. So this will allow for a single source of truth, as again, running through the theme of today's webinar, and bringing in some custom dashboards, so tracking KPIs against projects, resources, and finances. And then ultimately having a management-friendly pack that it gives you transparency at every level and allowing for some nice some smarter decision making. So you'll see over on the graph there, we've got an example of our Power BI mock-up dashboard. And then we've also got the mobile app, which is something that I'm hearing a lot more about recently, that a lot of people are actually bringing their Power BI packs into the mobile phone app, and they can actually review all of their reports within on the mobile phone on the go, as everybody seems to be living in their phones these days. So with that, I'm going to hand over to Zach, who's actually going to run through the proof of concept that we have worked on together, which is really looking at these Power BI reports, the custom dashboards, and bringing in information and data from both Rapport3 and AccountsIQ.
Thanks,
so
Daniel.
Over to you, Zach. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So yeah, let's start with so this is a project summary report that we have from Rapport, which is a report that we offer as part of our Power BI pack. So you'll see here that we're looking at the detail of a singular project, where you can see some of your key metrics across the top here, such as like your cost since last invoiced, your last invoice to date, along with any plan versus actuals, resourcing, utilization, that kind of thing. So the value here in these reports is predominantly your operational value. So it will mainly be used by project managers so they can see how the project is progressing, where the time is being spent, and whether it's actually staying on budget. So this kind of report will usually work well for day-to-day project analysis, but you'll notice that it's mostly operational than financial. So yeah, I'll have a quick scan through here just so you can see what these kind of reports offer. And then that leads us quite nicely onto the AccountsIQ reports. There we go. So this report gives us a true profit view showing your sales, your cost of sales, your gross margin, overheads, and then eventually your operating profit. So yeah, let me just jump onto there. So this is another screen that's available on here. So one of the benefits of this screen is that you can quickly look at your quarterly financials by using some of these filters across the top here. So if I just click on the final quarter of this financial period, you'll see that everything on here changes in line with that. And then you can clear that down so you can go back to the full year view. And it also gives you the option in here to flip between either your actuals versus your previous year or your actuals versus your budget for that year. So you can see everything nicely switches around there for you. So if you're more interested in seeing the actual financials, the detail behind all of these metrics, you can also do that here. So this gives you a much more detailed breakdown in more of an Excel type of view, because I know a lot of people prefer that kind of view, which is absolutely fine. And then we have a similar thing for your balance sheet in here, which I'm not going to go through today, but yeah, I'll quickly flick through it. But it's very similar sort of visuals based on your balance sheet. So there you go. And then just moving through to your KPIs. So this is where you can sort of pull it all together and see your full financial position. So you'll see the strength is clearly on the financial side, showing your real profitability and your financial KPIs that will predominantly matter to directors and finance team, as Danielle touched on before. But as I said before, the main difference here is we don't dive into the actual operation of projects themselves. It's more looking at the business position.
Mm-hmm. And I think, Zach, that's great because, you've got your report section. If you're looking over at the left-hand side, you've got your report section with the dashboards that are project specific, operational specific, and then you've got your finance dashboards, but they're all in the one pack. And again, as I said, they can all be on the one pack that's on the mobile phone as well, if needed.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's why Power BI is great for this kind of thing. Yes, so that leads me on nicely to how I'm going to give you an example of this is a bit of a proof of concept from our point of view at the moment of how Rapport3 and AccountsIQ data can be brought together. So that allows us to combine operational metrics from Rapport3, like your forecast revenue, your budgets, any project pipelines, anything like that. And you could also bring in your resourcing, your utilization, with the financial data from AccountsIQ. So you get your actual revenue, any payment trends that you might have, invoices, and also your non-project related costs, which I think is quite an important part of that to show your overall position.
And I love, Zach, I love the one at the bottom right, looking at revenue, where you've got the actuals from AccountsIQ. So that's your actual revenue coming in. And then your forecast, which are all your fee projections, which are project related and project specific in Rapport3. So actually putting them together, gives you a little bit of a cash flow analysis. Again, that's exactly what we could do with this kind of information, is do some sort of cash flow analysis, bringing those two sources of information, because you do have, provided people are updating Rapport diligently, you will have some valuable fee projections out there for the duration of projects.
Absolutely. Yeah, this type of reporting opens us up to loads of different insights that we haven't actually done as a proof of concept, but there's plenty of room for us to look at in the future. There's things like which clients are most profitable overall, not just which projects are necessarily running smoothly from the client perspective. You could look at how your resource utilization links to your revenue generation, for example. And also, as we've just touched on there, how the forecast billing from Rapport3 can project your actual cash position from AccountsIQ, and you can also look at it retrospectively to see how your forecast billing from Rapport3 should hopefully line up close to your actual revenue from AccountsIQ. But even if it doesn't, it's still good to look back at that kind of thing. So yeah, this report that we put together just allows us to, it's shown us that it's allowed us to analyze by certain dimensions, which is what Danielle's touched on previously. So it's something that we've not done before. So it's quite an exciting thing for us to look at doing, and how we can collaborate the information from both systems to allow us to have financial and operational overviews all in one page, all in one report.
Yeah.
Go on.
Oh, sorry. I just thinking about the dimensional split. So I think that would be a really key benefit. It's really like drilling down into some sort of an office overview. So obviously you can run a P&L and rapport and focus in on an office, but it is your sales revenue, which hopefully should be in line with AccountsIQ. But your costs for the projects would be based on timesheets, which are based on a multiple of variants like cost rates, overhead factors, and all of that, which, in many ways are a little bit of an estimate as such. Whereas if you look at AccountsIQ, when you bring that information together as well, you could also bring in things, your operating expenses for a particular office. So you could have in and break down those overheads and bring in like your rents, your salary, your actual salaries, your rates, and then you could actually do a bit of a review of your overheads and your overhead rates, and then reprocessing them, applying them back to Rapport3. But if you have it all pulled together into one report, it would be really easy to analyze and kind of update and maintain as you go on through the various months.
Yeah, absolutely. And as I said, this opens up quite a lot of opportunities for us. I know from previous conversations that I've had in the past that that things like a cash flow report would be a really beneficial thing for us to look at putting together. So that is something that we're going to be looking at probably in the coming months, I would have thought. But yeah, as I said, it's all very exciting stuff. So so this dimension analysis. So this is just something we put together as I said, a proof of concept to show how you can link the dimensions together between the two systems. So we focused primarily on offices and disciplines or departments, and on your terminology, to show how this can work. So this is just where the integration and the having the two systems really adds some real business value. Being able to, as we said before, have a single source of truth between the two to show your operational and financial performance. And yeah, I think that was everything I had today. So I'll pass back to Joanna.
Yeah, thanks, Zach and Danielle. That was a great look at how Power BI can be used to integrate reporting for both AccountsIQ and Rapport3. I'm now going to introduce you again to Nick Dunn, who's I get your title right, Nick, who's Technology Director at PRP Architects, or PRP. And they've been a client of AccountsIQ for 4 years, and they came on with Rapport3 about 2 years ago. So he's got experience having both systems and how they're working together. So Nick, could you just discuss your digital journey to date and what brought you to where you are today?
I certainly can. Good afternoon, everybody. So our journey for both these platforms and this sort of digital transformation, especially to cloud-based products, started about 5 years ago when we looked at, so we had Dimensions on-prem server-based accounting platform, which is a bit of a beast, and they tried to force us to the cloud. It really wasn't suitable for us. So we looked at a much more agile, better, a system more suited to a practice of our size, and AccountsIQ came out in front, and we made that transition, away from a server-based platform to a really agile cloud-based platform. So AccountsIQ has been embedded for about 4 years now, and it's been working really well. The problem we had is we had our own project accounting bespoke system, project management system, that we developed over the past 20 odd years, and it sat on its own and it wasn't integrated, and we were doing a lot of double handling, there was a lot of backwards and forwards with invoicing. There was no integration, and we could see a lot of inefficiencies, a lot of time wasted. So we decided it was time to move away from that bespoke platform and look for, again, another cloud-based platform that was going to be far better suited to our needs as it is now. We'd pushed it as far as it could go. So we looked at the market, and we looked at a number of reasons why we would adopt a new platform. In the end, Rapport came out on top for many reasons, but one of them being its integration with other platforms. Now, we're lucky enough to have 4 platforms that they integrate with. So it was a really good fit for us, including AccountsIQ, including Uforma, including Open Asset, and also Teams. Also, we were aware that obviously both platforms could be reporting on through Power BI. So it was great to see Zach's integrated report, which is we're looking forward to using it. So we selected Rapport to align with AccountsIQ. We knew there'd be an integration that we could make use of. And I know everybody's talked about it, but I keep referring, and everybody keeps referring to a single source of the truth. You know, this was one of the most important milestones I wanted to get to, because we had so much double handling and inefficiencies going on, and prone to error. You know, if you have all that in place, you make errors. So yeah, that's where we are. We've got both platforms now, we're both integrated, and we're 2 years into the journey with Rapport.
And have you been using the reporting improvements, and have they influenced your decision making about your business and the performance of the business, and how has that worked?
So yeah, as I said, one of the key reasons we chose Rapport was its reporting, which we didn't have in our own platform. We've seen a huge leap forward in reporting. So we use a number of reporting tools within Rapport. Project metrics, we're making a lot of use of for the project leaders on a day-to-day basis. So not necessarily in Power BI, but that gives them, and we've really curated a small number of those project metrics to give them key information. So that's really helped. We've developed a WIP report with you guys at Cubic. I know it's been a challenge over the past year, and we've pushed you to the limit, but I had some amazing feedback. We reached end of year in April. We did the audits, and Neil Griffiths said it was a real refreshing time, because before that would have been done with a lot of manual input from the accounts team trying to put together a WIP report. But we've now got it literally at the click of a button. So that was really useful. And then on top of that, we're now starting to develop Power BI reports. So Zach has kindly been building some for us. We've taken some of the standard packs from Cubic and from AccountsIQ. So they are standalone at the moment, as you quite rightly said. Different people are using them for different reasons. But we're really making use of the Power BI reporting. One of the things that we sort of thought of when we took on Rapport was the QA section. In our old platform, we had no way of doing high-level reporting on our QA process, which was a real risk to the business. We've refined our QA process in Rapport, and we can now report at a very high level very quickly, and try and reduce the risk. You know, what projects haven't got an appointment, what projects haven't got a brief. So some really high level reporting is really now helping us. And some of the senior management are seeing the benefit of the AccountsIQ Power BI reporting, because they don't have access. You know, the partners don't have access to a AccountsIQ platform. The accounts team have that. So now they can see this high level P&L stuff, information through AccountsIQ as well.
Oh, perfect. I'm glad those are all working out for you. So if someone was going to transform and go the direction you have and change their digital landscape, what advice would you give them based on what you've gone through in the last few years?
Well,
so I said that badly, but in a positive way.
I've actually been through this process twice. I went through it with a previous practice, so I learned from them and refined those at PRP. So firstly, I think you've got to define your objective clearly, right? You've got to know why you're doing this. Is it inefficiencies? Is it disconnected data? Are you moving to the cloud, away from sort of server-based platforms? So I think you've got to define your objectives very clearly, which we did. One of the really important things is get the right people on board. If you don't involve the right people, it's going to fail. So the first thing is top down. You've got to get the board on. You've got to get the board on board. You've got to get senior management to buy into this. It's often not the senior management that see the benefits of these platforms until they're in. They see it as, why are we changing? But if you can convince them that the change is for a benefit, get them on board. And if they're on board, it will make the project a lot easier. What we then did is we got together two groups. We had a core Rapport steering group. That was a small group of us that met regularly. And then we had a wider steering group of champions that we could get on board to get that message across to their teams across the various studios that we've got. So I think get the right people.
Yeah, I think from PRP's perspective, the project worked well because of the right teams and the amount of effort you put into setting things up at the beginning rather than running too fast.
Exactly. And that brings me on to the next one, which is mapping the processes. So, Joanna, you kindly came in right at the beginning of the project, and you sat and talked to us. You talked to the various teams in the practice, and you listened to what our current processes are, and you realised that actually, and we all realised that we could improve a lot of these. I mean, the invoicing being an immediate one. The process we had before of invoicing was it was the most manual, backwards and forwards process I've ever seen. This just streamlines the whole thing, and with the integration with AccountsIQ as well, single source of the truth again, and it's really improved. And whenever we talk to people about, what's the best thing you've seen about the implementation of Rapport, and they all come back, especially the project leaders, and they say invoicing. It's really, really improved things. So map your processes. That's a really important thing. Another critical thing would be cleaning up your data. Now we had a platform that we'd built and used for 20 years, so we had an awful lot of data in there that we didn't want to bring across. So we spent 12 months cleaning it, whether that be the contact and company database side or the projects, deciding which projects we'd bring forward and which ones we'd leave behind. That proved absolutely essential to clean that data up. You're then starting with a clean slate, and a good clean slate as well.
Yes, I think again, one of the things you did was you did it all. You took your time and made sure that when you went live with correct data and the processes were in place.
Exactly. And the other thing, I think, treat it as change management. If people just think it's another software application being pushed out, they just switch off. But this is a change to the business, and it's there to help improve us as a business and run more efficiently. And lastly of all, Joanna, as you said, give yourself time. I have this saying in life that fail to prepare is to prepare to fail. We gave ourselves a year, and I know it seems a long time. So we signed on the dotted line with Rapport, and we gave ourselves a year to launch it. And I'm glad we did. I know you can do it quicker, and I know you can do it faster, but we planned this very carefully, and I felt that the transition when we moved away from our old system, when we went live with Rapport, was a lot smoother than it would have been if we'd rushed it.
Yeah, no, I think that's very good advice for everyone who's listening today. Just spend that little bit longer sorting out processes. Well, thanks ever so much, Nick, for your time and answering those questions. We've got some time now to go to any questions that are in the Q&A. Charles is on the Q&A questions from our team and is going to answer any questions that anyone's put in the panel. Is there anything there you could answer, Charles, or is there anything you want to add?
Thank you, Joanna. Just wanted to check everyone can hear me okay. And I just wanted to do a quick shout out to both Haytham and Helen, who've been far faster than me in answering a lot of the questions that have been coming through on the chat. So great input. But one of the ones I just wanted to pass over to Rowley was a question that came in right at the start. just wanted to just to get your input on that. I'll just read it out for everyone's benefit. Roly, do you see big differences between Canadian and UK companies regarding digital maturity?
Boy, that's a difficult question to answer just because firms are so different, and they're not different between countries. They're different in their approach. Some UK AEC firms are much more mature digitally than their peers. Some Canadian firms are much more digitally advanced. It really goes to this question: do they have managers, leaders, owners who are aware of the importance of digital processes, skills, systems, and data in their practices? Architecture and engineering, construction management are digital businesses now. That means they need to take a whole view of the practice and a whole view of digital strategy. Only a few of the firms that we've dealt with in either country have this view. And they're the ones who are going to do better as we enter into the world of AI and what I call Fortress IT. We're entering into a world where many tasks are going to be replaced, some tasks are going to be augmented, and work is going to be done in ways that we just cannot foresee. It will probably be done across professional boundaries, and it will require a whole new way of thinking about IT and information system strategy. Those leadership firms are the ones who are recognizing that change. They have comprehensive, forward-looking digital strategies that will help them deal better with AI and the opportunities and the very profound security threats that it brings.
Thank you very much, Roly. Another question that's come in, and rather than me try and type in real time, Amy, thank you for your question relating to percentage complete and revenue recognition. Maybe I'll put that through to Joanna to answer that, and I don't know if Danielle might have some input as well. So Amy wanted to know is how the system handles project percentage complete, revenue recognition, and work in progress journals.
Okay, so I'll start off. Obviously, Daniel, feel free to chip in if you'd like to. But Rapport3 has
Joanna, we've still got you on mute.
Oh, am I?
No, I could hear.
Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Sorry, I don't seem to be on mute. Sorry, Charles. So Rapport3 has an area within the section of projects for each individual project where you can put a percentage complete in against all of your work stages. That percentage complete then filters into one of our panels that will give you an overall percentage complete for that project. So you can do a percentage complete as part of your monthly sessions, and that will then filter into some of our reports. We also have a WIP report that you can look at in terms of the percentage complete you're putting in against the project, or you can look at it in terms of resourcing and how you've planned your project through resourcing, and then it will tell you the percentage complete based on how much resource you've used. We've got to recognise revenue. You can use that percentage complete to invoice from, in terms of if you go into our invoicing, you can invoice via that percentage complete. So you can go in if it's 30% complete and invoice. And also, we've got a number of reports that you can set up, so you can look in terms of WIP and revenue recognition, either via Power BI reporting or via Rapport reporting. So hopefully that's answered your question. I don't know if you wanted to add anything else, Danielle, in terms of how I do.
Yeah, I'll just jump in quickly. Sorry, trying to find the unmute button. Yeah, I mean, most of those are really handled in Rapport3, and really that's where they sit, as they're project specific as such, and each project needs to be reviewed independently. Typically what people would do is do a straightforward journal into AccountsIQ once a month, once they've reviewed it, to bring that information into AIQ, as it's not part of the current integration as we work as such.
Okay, thank you. Now I can see it's got to the time where we're running out of time, so I think we'll stop the questions there. I hope everyone's enjoyed today's session. Obviously, the contact details for every speaker is on the screen now. So if you'd like to contact us any further about what you've heard today, or ask us any further questions, please feel free to email us, get in contact with us, and we'll answer those questions for you as we get them. I'd just like to say a huge thank you for everyone coming today and everyone who helped organising it. Special thank you again to Nick, who's come in, joined us again and talked about his experience with both systems. And obviously, anything that you'd like to request, just email us and we can share this video with you.